Hello, this is Gihan Pereira. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to talk about a really practical thing that you can do to help your team members use AI, artificial intelligence, more effectively. You know, there's a lot of talk and hype and noise about the impact of AI on work and the workforce. Is it going to create jobs? Is it going to replace jobs? Is it going to destroy the whole fabric of society? I saw an article recently that said that 40% of CEOs predict that AI is going to destroy us within the next decade. And I think that's ridiculous. You should ignore articles like this for a number of reasons. First of all, it was a tiny sample of CEOs who were surveyed in this report. But more importantly, what do these CEOs, what do business leaders know about the impact of AI on humanity? That's not their area of expertise. And I think most importantly, whether or not you believe this is true, it's not very useful. So as a leader or a manager, what should you be thinking about instead? AI is going to have an impact on your organization, your work, your team, and we should be thinking about what that impact is going to be and how we can leverage it to take advantage of this really powerful technology. So a much more relevant story that you might have seen a few months ago was from Samsung. So Samsung, one of the smartest tech companies on the planet, some of their engineers got into trouble for using ChatGPT. And what they did was ChatGPT is really powerful when it comes to software. It was trained on a lot of software code. So these Samsung engineers, who were software engineers, uploaded some of the code that they were writing to ChatGPT to ask for advice, and ChatGPT helped them. It gave some good advice. Unfortunately, the engineers didn't really think about the consequences of what they were doing. They were uploading proprietary Samsung code to this third-party software. And when Samsung found out about it, they were horrified and they immediately banned all the engineers from using ChatGPT. But what they also did was they've started building their own AI tool that will be internal and safe for the engineers to use. Now, most of us, don't have the resources of this giant company like Samsung to build our own artificial intelligence tools. So we'll have to use a whole bunch of other tools that are out there. So how do you, as a leader or manager, help your team use those tools effectively? And a lot of it is building trust with your team, because you could certainly have guidelines and rules and policies, but they only go so far. So you could have a policy that says we're just going to ban the use of AI, ChatGPT and other tools. We're going to ban the use of them. Now, I think that's really risky because they're really powerful tools and everybody else, including your competitors, are going to be using them. So it's negligent and risky to ban the tools. But it's equally negligent and risky to have a policy that says use whatever you like. Go for your life with AI and do whatever you like, because that opens yourself up to some other really big problems, as Samsung discovered. So is there a middle ground where you can create some really hard and fast policies? No, this technology is moving so fast that policies and rules are never going to be enough. It comes down to trusting your team. And now, do you trust your team members using AI? And if you don't, then the problem is not with them, it's with you as a leader or a manager or an organization. And if you're thinking about building trust with your team with using AI and other technologies, but let's talk about AI specifically, there are 4 stages. So the first one is about information, and that includes the tools and the resources. So do your people do they have access to the information, the tools and the resources like ChatGPT? The second one is, do they have the skill to use those tools effectively? Have you given them training, mentoring, coaching, the opportunity to experiment in a safe way to use those tools? The next level is about judgment. This is about them making judgment calls. So they've got the skills, but now can they exercise good judgment in using those tools? So for example, if they use ChatGPT appropriately and safely, when they get the results, can they evaluate those results and determine which bits they can use, which bits they should change, and which bits they should reject? So those are judgment calls. And the last one is about wisdom. So are they using the tools wisely? And this is where those Samsung engineers got into trouble, because they had the information, the tools, they had the skills, they knew how to use it, they made judgment calls about the results they got from ChatGPT, but they didn't think about the big picture context with wisdom about whether they should be using that tool at all. What about you and your team members? When you think about people in your team using AI, do you trust them to use AI effectively and to use these tools in the appropriate way? And if you don't trust them, that's on you. Think about those 4 levels: information and tools, skills, judgment, and wisdom. If you'd like to dig into this and explore this a little bit more, then download a worksheet that I've got for you, which is all about building their judgment. It's not only about AI, but you can use it for building their judgment anywhere. But specifically, if you're thinking about getting your team to use AI more effectively, then download the worksheet and work through it with your team members. I'm also running a virtual masterclass very soon about AI, specifically for the healthcare sector, but we'll talk about this idea of teams and building their judgment. You can go to gihanperera.com and register for that masterclass in the events area. And if you miss it, because it's coming up very soon, you'll be able to watch the recording there as well. But download the worksheet, go to the masterclass, and build the judgment of your team members so you can trust them when they're using tools, powerful tools like AI and other technology. I'll see you in the future.